You are now listening to the most talked about blog talk radio station in the universe. Walk in His ways, Impact Voice Radio. Be prepared to have your mind stimulated, your spirit elevated in ways you couldn't even imagine. Introducing your host and the mastermind behind this unforgettable experience, Furman Jackson Jr. You will not be disappointed. Let's go!
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Walk in His Ways Impact Voice Podcast. I'm your host, Furman Jackson Jr. I'm broadcasting live from my new home, my new location of Arlington, Texas, between Dallas and Fort Worth. Hope everybody's having a great, productive Tuesday. Hope everybody got things done. They got everything accomplished. But most important, we know that God allowed us to see this day. He opened my eyes this morning to see this day. We know the day that He has made. We're going to be glad. We're going to rejoice in it. So I'm very thankful and very excited to be with you one more time, along with the crew as well, with Kenny Primetime Williams. Also, we want to give a big shout out to the co-host, Danielle. She had a family emergency as well. Emo had a family emergency as well. So we want to give a big shout out to them, that God is with them, and our prayers go out with them in the midst of this time right now. So most importantly, we thank everybody once again for being part of the Nice Podcast. Very exciting guest that we got on here tonight, talking about her brand, her faith, her legacy. Very interesting products that she has that helps people that be stressful and overworked, help them to relax, help them to be calm. And we know that's the most important thing, because the Bible speaks about peace. So we know that God gives us peace that bypasses all understanding, and that's what it's all about. So we want to thank everybody once again for being part of tonight's podcast. Also, this will be going up on our YouTube channel. So we ask you to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Walking This Ways Impact Voice Podcast. So we're about to get ready to kick off with some hot sports news. For those who are football fans, we know football season is here. College football kicked off this week. NFL kicks off this Thursday night. Big shout out to my favorite childhood team, the Dallas Cowboys. I'm very excited to see what they're going to do this upcoming season. Big shout out to Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, and the rest of the team that's going to hopefully have a good year this year, upcoming year. I know our first real talent challenge is with Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with the GOAT himself, Tom Brady. They just came off a Super Bowl run, and it's going to be a very interesting matchup. So, Kenny, go ahead and take away with the latest news and updates.
Ladies, gentlemen, people all around the area, welcome. You are now in the prime zone. This is a special edition this evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's week one. It's week one of the NFL. Football is here. The season has arrived. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Get your popcorns out. Get your favorite team apparel out, because it's time to go to war. It's time to go to battle. And we're going to start off week one. But before we get to week one in the NFL, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to brace yourself. I want you to sit down in your comfortable living room, in your kitchen, wherever you might be. And I want you to concentrate and get ready for what's about to happen this segment of Prime Zone. But before I go any further, I want to give shout out to the Mississippi Gulf Coast, Mobile, Alabama, Dallas, Texas, Greenville, Mississippi, surrounding areas. I want to give a special shout out to my in-laws, Pastor Joseph and Beverly Wright. I love you to life. God bless you. But let's get into some sports. Mom and Daddy, let's get going. We're going to start off with the NCAA college football this weekend. Alabama, the Crimson Tide. They still number one, and they showed it this past Saturday when they played the Miami Hurricanes and topping them off with the final score of 43-13. Georgia moves up from number 3 to the number 2 spot. They beat Clemson 10-3, and that was a great game. Also, my alma mater, Mississippi State University, came out on top against Louisiana Tech with a final score of 35-34. It was a very close game, ladies and gentlemen, but we fought it out all the way. Hail State, go Bulldogs. Tulane, coming up short against Oklahoma. Score was 35-40. Notre Dame in an overtime play, 41-38 against Florida State. Florida Gators had topped off against the fake FMU. Now, let's go into the SWAC a little bit. I watched this entire game with my father-in-law. We had a great time watching it. Jackson State Tigers against the Florida A&M. And what I tell you, the debut of Deion Primetime Sanders as his coaching debut, he did a wonderful job. Overall, the team was great. Jackson State comes out with the victory, 7-6 over Florida A&M, and I tell you, that was a great game to watch. Had a great time watching the game. It was very exciting from beginning to end. Different plays, spectacular plays, all type of defense, everybody around the ball, and that lets you know, get a little summary of football season is in the air. Football is in the air, ladies and gentlemen, and it was a good showcase of it this past weekend. I hope everybody enjoyed their Labor Day weekend with family and friends and loved ones, enjoying each other, watching some good football games. I know I did. Now, let's move on to the NFL. Week 1, I'm not going to go through all the matchups, but I'm going to tell you some things so you can get ready for on Sunday after you come home from church and you have a great meal and you relax and just turn on the television. We got football all day and all night long. It's going to go down, ladies and gentlemen. You do not want to miss it. The Eagles is traveling to Atlanta to face the Atlanta Falcons. The Steelers will be on the road to take on the Bills. The Green Bay Packers will be coming to New Orleans, but that game has been changed to Jacksonville, so they will be in Jacksonville, Florida, this coming Sunday. The Browns will travel to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. The Vikings will take on the Bengals. The Ravens will take on the Raiders. And ladies and gentlemen, I cannot go any further but to tell you, last but not least, the game of the week. This coming Thursday. You see the star behind me. You see the CeeDee Lamb jersey. Matter of fact, this is the jersey they will be wearing Thursday night. My Dallas Cowboys will be traveling to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to ruin the celebration for the Super Bowl champions. There was in the past tense. We're gonna tear up shop. Thursday night, September 9th, Dallas Cowboys, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Be tuned in. I will be tuned in. I know America's team will be tuned in. We look forward to a great game with these guys. Now, before the season starts, you already want to know who's a future MVP, who's projected to have these awards. And the MVP list came out this morning concerning the upcoming MVPs for the NFL this year. And coming in at number 1 will be Josh Allen. Coming behind him will be Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and last but not least, my quarterback, Dak Prescott, is on that list as well. Now, a couple of new surprises, new faces you will see. One will be a blockbuster one this past offseason when Matt Stafford and Jared Goff switched teams. Matt Stafford will be suited up with the LA Rams, with Jared Goff suiting up with the Detroit Lions. And I'm wishing everybody, not only those two guys, but every NFL player that's getting ready to start his season, I wish you well. God bless you. What a competitive sport. I want you guys to stay safe, stay vaccinated, do everything you can be safe. And before I leave you, I want to leave you with a final thought. And the final thought of the day is the measure of who we are is what we do, what we have. I'm going to say that again. The measure of who we are is what we do with what we have. That's my time, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you. I love you. And there's nothing you can do about it. Again, I thank you for watching. You have been in this segment of Kenny, Prime Time in the Prime Zone. Furman, back to you, my guy.
I appreciate you, Kenny, with the latest news and updates that's going on in the sports world. We know that football season is here. College pros are here. Most important, man, we want to give big success to all the players on the college level, high school level, middle school, elementary, pee-wee, you name it, that they all be successful. Most importantly, you want to be able to reach your goals, perfect your craft, learn all you can in order to be the best that you can be. Absolutely. You want to be iconic in every area of life. You don't have to have you don't have to need a big time name to play at a high level. I can play at a high level. Kenny can play at a high level. We can play at a high level right where we at and stay there. Stay consistent. Stay humble, and allow God to exalt you in different areas of your life once you keep Him first. I know I love Matthew 6:33 and say, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all His righteousness, and everything else going to be added." So keep God first. Apply His word. Live according to His word. And watch Him bless your life like you've never seen before. And I'm very excited about our Q&A tonight as well, Kenny.
Yes.
Very special guest from my hometown of Mobile, Alabama. She's a extraordinaire. She's a woman of faith. She has her brand that she's pushing out in the Gulf Coast, not just in the Gulf Coast, but around the world. And I like her products. Her products is help gearing towards people who deal with stress and fully overworked. And we know that that's going on in today's society with so much going on in our world. It's chaos. We know that on every end, it's very chaos. And I'm very excited as she talks about her products with her home care, her body care to help take care of yourself. And that's why the name of this Q&A is called Loving Yourself, because when I look at her products, it's about loving yourself, taking care of yourself, your well-being. So I want to welcome my guest, Measha. Come on in. Thank you once again to be a part of the Nice Podcast. Taking time with your busy schedule to join with us, chop it up with us. We're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff: who you are, how you guys started, talk about your faith, and things of that nature. Most important, that what you got going on is very unique. When I was looking at your information, that your products actually helps people deal with stress. And we know that that's something that we never talk about, but I know it has come up recently when it comes to our mental health. So introduce yourself to our audience here on Walking This Way's Impact Voice Podcast.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Measha. Well, actually, my name is Keamesha, but I like to go by the moniker Measha. I'm just a mom of four, business owner, just trying to do the best that I can to build the best, empire for my children, something to leave them.
And that's a beautiful thing that we know that people are catching on building their legacy. We know that the Bible speaks about generations. We know in Proverbs, the Bible says a good man leaving hands for his children. We know that God deal with generation. We know that you had to pass it on down to your children. So it's a beautiful thing to see that people are catching that on, because back in the day, it wasn't that much thing as leaving things generationally. We was
Yeah.
always taught to work a job for so many amount of years, get that retirement, get that pension, and that's it. We don't
Yeah,
know what. Go
you're
ahead.
right. I actually never fit in at work. I always whenever I had a job, I used to always feel like there has to be more than just sitting here behind a desk or behind a register. I was not settled, content or satisfied.
And I'm glad that God put that in you, and people need to hear that stuff. They need to be motivated. They need to be inspired about your story and many other stories who are doing things, taking that chance, taking that risk to order to be successful. You got to get out your comfort zone, and I
Yeah.
know that it took you out your comfort zone to get what you got going on today. So take us through that. How I got all started with your brand.
Wow. I really don't talk about this too much. Well, I actually started making skincare products after my husband died, right? I was working, I had another project going, a business that I was going to start. And, then he just had this tragic death. So my entire life was just put on pause. Literally everything around me was just chaotic. And I had to go to New York to take care, of all the funeral arrangements and everything. And on my way back, I started watching soap making videos. And even when I got home, just dealing with a lot of the legal aspects of his death and everything, just watching soap making videos was the only way I could find, I was able to deal with everything that was going on. It was my peaceful place. And so that's how I got started. So I just was you know what, if this brings me so much peace, then maybe I can spread the love.
Right.
And that's what it's all about. And you doing something that you love doing, that you took what was a tragic per se,
Yeah.
but turn it into something that birth something that was already in you, but take you to that next level in your life. And not only that, you're helping people as well. And when I was looking at your information, you were saying something about that your product is geared towards helping people deal with stress and being overworked.
Yeah.
Explain to the audience, 'cause that's my first time ever hearing anything like that.
Well, I think me personally, um, I I know what it's like to just be stressed and overworked, working, having to come home, taking care of kids, cooking, cleaning, doing all of that by yourself. It is not easy, especially for women. And a lot of times we just get so caught up in the everyday life of trying to live and trying to make it that we forget about taking care of ourselves until we're at the point where somebody's wheeling us into a hospital. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, because I know that people are dealing with a lot of stress. People are dealing with a lot of stress every day because you got COVID going on, you got all kind of crazy stuff going on in our world, and people are being stressed. They are being overworked, um, and people are looking for ways to better challenge that. To say, hey, you know what? I know that take the stress off,
Yeah.
take being burnt out, and I know your products help out with that. So, what are the main products that you have that help deal with the stress and help deal with the cares of the world that we are dealing with on a regular basis? Because it's tough out here in this world.
Well, I'm actually currently rebranding right now, so I'm kind of not even selling, but I could give you like a little backstory of like how my rebrand came about, right?
Mhm.
Like I feel that everything that God has given, like everything He's made is good. And so every like herb, plant, flower, it's all good. It's all here for us to use. And so what I did was I said, you know what? Everything he made had some type of healing property to it. So like lavender, chamomile, all of these things could be turned into essential oils. And so what I'm doing is creating products that are infused with essential oils to help people, deal with depression, boost their mood, help their confidence levels, and even like help colds and congestion and things like that.
Yeah, and that's stuff that we do need in our culture. We really do, because the mental thing, the mental aspect, working on the inner man, the inner woman, that inner self that we wants to bring out. Everybody wants to live with the outer appearance, but we never deal with the inner appearance when it comes to our mental health. And like I said, you said boost up our confidence, health wise, because a lot of people are going towards plant-based foods and
Yeah.
cutting out the processed foods and cooking more at home. And I think this pandemic, when everything shut down, really was an eye opener. Everybody looked at it as a negative, but it also was a positive because it got us time to be able to re-inflect our lives, self-examine ourselves,
Yeah.
know where we need to be at, where we're going, where we need to be going. So in the midst of COVID-19, of course, and I know that you being a business owner, what change did you had to make when it happened?
Uh, None actually, because everything I do is from home. So it wasn't like I was actually, I had like a brick and mortar where I had to interact with people. I think the only thing people was concerned about was cleanliness and being sanitary. But that really was about it. Like I would probably do videos of how I make things and show how I like clean things, around me just to give them like some security. But yeah, COVID didn't like impact like it at all. I will say this, the thing that it did impact was the amount of product and like supplies I was able to get my hands on because everybody just started trying to start a business doing certain things and like the supply just became like almost like obsolete. And so that was the only issue that I faced.
And I know you had mentioned something on your Facebook page last year. You was talking about the immune system. You was talking about the things we need to take to keep our immune system up. And because we know that media is not going to tell nobody that. They're going
Mm-mm.
to tell you all this other stuff, but they're not telling people what you need in order to stay healthy. I know growing up back in the day, and I know growing up, we had to take vitamin C. We had to take Coloval every day because my mom said, y'all not staying
Yeah.
home. Keep your immune system up.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
going to ask you this. And like I said, I love my podcast because we can talk about it. It's out the box. It's not censored. So when you had mentioned that, did you receive any positive feedback, any negative feedback? I know people so scary of
Yeah.
COVID, but you stand your ground with that. So how was that when you broke that out? Did anybody like say anything about it, or they just like agreed to it? I mean, I agree with you were saying because that is
Yeah.
important.
So, I mean, some people, for the most part, I guess the people who would probably not agree with it, they don't comment because they know I'm the type of person I will die on a hill that I stand on. And so they already know, I'm not even gonna go back and forth with her. But I think it was like people received it. I mean, I didn't see anything wrong with it. I'm a firm believer of like being very aware of what you're putting in your body and on your body because both of my parents had cancer. And so, like, I really don't, I didn't care about negative feedback because I know like what's important to me.
And matter of fact, it was a YouTube video, and I seen it yesterday, where a doctor was telling people they need to take to prevent them from getting COVID-19. And she was sharing different vitamins that we have to take, like the vitamin C, the zinc, and things of that nature. That's something that should have been put out long time ago. But
Yeah.
nobody's not talking about being healthy.
No.
Everybody was talking about that, the vaccination with things of that nature. But like you said, taking the vitamins that we need to keep our immune system, because when you keep your immune system strong, it is built to fight off diseases or whatever. But we're not taking the proper nourishment, what's gonna happen? We're gonna get sick.
Yeah, we live in a microwave world, I guess, where people feel like they don't want to take like the due diligence to do right by themselves because they can easily go to a doctor and get some type of medication to take care of their issue.
Yeah, because I know with Dr. Seavey, he was big on it before he passed. He was all into natural healing with the herbs, the food we supposed to eat, the thing we shouldn't and should not eat. And he was big on that because we know that years ago he heals a couple of people from HIV. And I
Uh-huh.
know that he had to go to the Supreme Court. They the same people that said they got healed from HIV, they find out that it was true
Mm.
because of the type of foods and stuff they put them on. Because God made things in the earth for us to protect ourselves, to
Yeah.
keep ourselves healthy, keep ourselves useful.
Yeah.
Because and aging well, because I think it reverses the aging process, when we are taking the things we need for our bodies to keep our minds strong as well. Since I moved here to Texas, I'm very big on that now. The mental thing, the mental state,
Yeah.
we more focus on the physical, but we forget about the mental. They have vitamins help
Yeah.
with our mental focus as well,
Uh,
brain and all the other stuff. So that stuff plays a role too,
Right.
because it prevents us from getting with Alzheimer's,
yeah.
depression, anxiety. All that stuff plays a role in our bodies, and we have to take care of ourselves. The Bible says He wants us to prosper in our health as well. So
Yeah.
encourage those on the outside. I mean, go to the vitamin shop, invest in your body. The other day, I spent like $66 on vitamins. I take vitamins every day, and I'm be honest with you. I have not been sick since then. I used to suffer like with sinuses, allergies. That stuff don't even bother me no more.
Yeah. I think a lot of illnesses also come from our mindsets also.
Hmm.
That's like, and that's why because I deal with stress. I deal with stress. I'm not going to lie. I deal with stress myself. And when I get to the point, like, it is just like this much, my body starts to shut down
Yeah.
and
Yes.
I'll catch a cold.
Right.
And so that's why I believe like a lot of things are more mental. And when it's so mental, it consumes our physical.
Mm. I
Mhm.
like that. I like that. That's why I understand when it talks about Do not be conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewing of our mind. The Bible
Yeah.
speaks about meditating on the word day and night to keep that mental capacity at where it need to be at. That's very interesting. And my
Mhm.
next question I want to ask you is, I know you've been an entrepreneur, you as a mother. How do you balance that with being an entrepreneur and also being a mom?
I'm not. I'm not balancing right now. I'm being honest. Um, this is like I'm going into the second year of this business, and like I'm literally just learning how to balance. Like I'm learning that everything has to be done like intentionally and purposefully. So schedule, write out everything you have to do, give yourself an allotted amount of time to work on like your business stuff. And then you gotta feed your kids, you gotta make sure they're doing like their schoolwork. So everything is pretty much like just section off time for everything. Yeah, but
We know there's always
they're
stuff going
winning right
on.
now. My kids are winning right now in the balance part.
So that likes to getting things together, getting things established. And like I said, you're talking about your business, like I said, you're rebranding right now.
Yeah,
And not only that, you're helping people. And that's the beautiful thing about you, helping people with their own personal lives with the projects you're putting out. And we know self care is important. And I know that a lot of people are going back to loving themselves, loving
mhm,
self, because people put all their energy into loving someone else but lack the energy of loving themselves. So now we're seeing more people starting to really embrace loving themselves. So how has that with your implement with your branding with people like loving themselves, taking care of themselves? Most important, you want to be around for your children as well, also.
yeah,
So that's important. That plays a role too.
Mm.
it does. When it comes to the self-love part, everything is centered around, to me, everything is centered around God. And when you understand that he just embodies love, and when you're like in relationship and connection with him, you have no choice but to become what he is. And that right there will build upon your self-love. So it's like, I see people saying, well, you need to like relax in a tub and take a hot shower, and all of that is good. But if we don't like get in connection like with our creator, like I mean, all of that is good, but it's really kind of sort of in vain at the end of the day.
Hmm. I
Just
totally agree.
that's my take on it.
But I totally agree with you saying
Yeah.
because if you look at the order, for the love God with all our well being, then he said, love your neighbor, you should love yourself. We know
Yeah.
everything's centered right back around God, of course. That's why Christ told us what seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, all these things gonna be added. So everything goes back to him. And I do believe that the stuff that goes on in this world because of our disobedience.
Hmm.
And then we have to go back to God. That's why he said that those who call by my name shall humble themselves and seek his face, and he shall heal our land. And I do agree with that. Everything really goes back to God. It don't matter how many degrees you get, you come with all type of self-help, motivational stuff. But if we don't
Yeah.
have him, like you said, that stuff is in vain. And I
Hmm.
also know you being a business owner. So as you being a believer, so you implement kingdom principles in your own business.
Well, the one thing I probably would say is one of my favorite Bible verses, Matthew 6:33. And I know, like, I actually bought the shirt that you have about, like, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things will be added unto you. I just feel like everything that we're looking for, everything that we desire, like, to, to be healed in our body, to be healed in our mind, it's only going to come when we, you know, from
Right.
there. That's it.
And it will and it does because we constantly even one of the parables he talked about that the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the seed because we're in this
Yeah.
world where we're trusting in our own self we mess everything up. That's why Christ told us what don't take no thought for your life.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what you'll eat, what you'll drink, what you'll wear. The Gentiles do all the people that's not in covenant relation with him seek after those things. They seek after the money. They seek after all these material things. But he told us not to worry about those things. And I read that scripture every day to remind myself because our mind is all over the place. Uh, I gotta pay this bill. How I'm gonna eat? What I'm gonna eat? What I'm gonna wear? I got all this stuff. All this stuff comes in, but we have to go back to the source. We have to go back to the blueprint, which is His foundation, which is His word, and that's
Yeah.
obedience. The whole duty of man is to fear Him, keep His commandments, and He'll take care of all the other stuff.
Yeah.
So that stuff is important. So I'm glad you brought that up. So everything go right back to the Most High God. So really,
Yeah.
everything centered right back around Him. Like you said, everything we need is within His kingdom, of course, and everybody should know that.
Mhm.
So take care that being a believer and also being a light, because we have to be a light of this world, being an example to other believers, and just your faith. You're very big in your faith. You especially your faith, and like I applaud you for that because we need to see a lot of that because. At one time, people used to post Bible scriptures on Facebook. People don't even do that no more. They post quotes from other people. They post what their pastor said. But going back to the source, which is the word of God, which the word is going to stand. He said heaven and earth going to pass away, but his word is going to stand forever. So your faith. When it comes to your faith, describe your faith to us when it comes to your relationship with God. That somebody needs to hear to implement that, hey, wow, if Measha could do it, I know I could do it too.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. What do you mean if Measha can do it? I'm just Measha. I'm like not anybody special or important to look up to, to say, hey, if she has this much faith. I mean, I don't, I don't know how to answer that one. It's just
Well, you just go ahead, okay, just you find your niche, you find your lane, and it just being an example. That's what I'm saying, just be an example because
that's all I can be is, I mean, an example. I used to be a Sunday school teacher when I lived in Pensacola. And I never realized that the children, like, even though I was a teacher, even before I was a teacher, I never realized how much they would watch me. And so I had to actually even change the way I was dressing because I knew that, these children were like, oh, Miss Measha, everything was always Miss Measha, Miss Measha. I want to be around you. I want to go to your house. And so, I mean, I had to like put away certain things and just, you know, be that example for them.
and that's what it's all about, being that example, being that light, because people watch you. People may not
Yeah,
read
they
people
do.
may never read the Bible before in their life, but you may be the only Bible to them that they see. Because some people never read the Bible before, but it's
Yeah,
by our example that will cause people to come in because love and kindness that He'll draw unto them. So that's what it's all about. He gonna do the work. All we gotta do is just be obedient. And my
yeah.
next question is, what are your keys to success?
Consistency, patience, and I would probably have to say excellence. I believe excellence is a big, 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 big key. I mean, we may not be perfect, but as long as we do everything in excellence to the best of our ability, you have no choice but to succeed.
Yeah, because the Bible tells us don't be slothful in business, but favor in spirit.
Mhm.
So God does not want us to be slothful at all. Like you said, so excellence is important. So work in excellence, ladies and gentlemen. No matter what you do, work in excellence. And my next question is, what do you want to achieve next in your life? I know you're a business owner. I know you have goals and aspirations. So what's the next thing you want to achieve?
Well, uh, my business at like part of my life. I want to be able to transition my business into a corporation. Um, I actually, want to be big enough where I have brick and mortar stores where I employ parents and moms who are on the verge of like homelessness and possibly open up a homeless shelter and donate to several homeless charities. Personal life, I really don't ask for too much. I just want to be like the best version of me for my children. Like everything I do is centered around them. So yeah.
And that's what's up right there. 'Cause I know the more you walk with God, the mature you get, your prayer life change. It's not all
Yeah.
about the things. It's all about give me. I'm like Solomon, give me wisdom, and God under that
Mhm.
prayer. So that's what we. As you start maturing in Christ, you start asking for things to help move you to the next level as a person for the kingdom to please Him. Like okay, help me to walk in the spirit, so I won't feel the lust of the flesh, like Paul talked about. And that's my
Yeah.
prayer all the time to walk in the spirit, so I won't feel the lust of the flesh. Because we know it's a battle every day between spirit, the flesh, one going to override the other. So that's why He tells us to meditate on the Word day and night to keep our flesh under subjection, so we won't do the things the flesh want to do. The flesh want to do crazy stuff, but we know that God sits high and He looks low, and we want to
Mhm.
be that example, and that's what it's all about. So my next question is also, as being a business owner, how have that changed your life completely? Because when you're an entrepreneur, you're putting in work. So how has that changed for you?
Uh, One thing it's teaching me is not to give up. I think that's like the biggest key thing. Because a lot of times I feel when I get like in a place where I feel like I can't uh deal with something, I like to just like shut it all off. I don't want to look at it, I don't want to hear about it. And actually having a business has shown me that, Measha, like you have to be opposite of that. You have to keep, like showing up, keep putting in the work, regardless of how you feel, regardless of what everything look like going on around you. Continue to be present.
And that's it. So that sums it up in a nutshell. And also with your products, how can people get in contact with you to purchase some things from you? Because I know that I'm gonna purchase some stuff from you as well, for stuff at home. So how can the audience get in contact with you to purchase some of your products?
Well, I have a Facebook page. You can follow me on Facebook, Keamesha Home and Body. I have an Instagram page also. It's Keamesha underscore home underscore body. And my website, it is just Keamesha.myshopify.com.
Awesome. And like I said, I love to smell good stuff. Cause like I said, you want to have the home smelling good. It's like when people walk in, you want like, wow, I feel a presence here. I feel peace here,
Yeah.
and have that atmosphere. And I know you want to do a homeless shelter to help homeless people, of course. And we know that's
Yeah.
a big issue in our country, in our community, in our city, especially here in Dallas. We see a lot of homeless here in the city, and we
Mhm.
need more places to help the homeless because we don't have any places for them to go. They now what they're doing is police officers are picking them up and sending them to jail, and
Mhm.
they don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, that's sad. That's a uh I know what it's like. I know what it's like. I've lived in a shelter with my three oldest children. And so I definitely know what it's like to not have and to be on the outs and to actually have to start from the bottom and like build yourself back up. And like I just it just like my heart just like break when I see homeless people or just like hear like stories of how moms struggle or parents struggle. Like yeah, I, it, it 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 bugs me.
Yeah, and we know that we seeing more teens because actually here in Dallas, they built the homeless shelter here for teenagers, and I thought that was very
Wow,
interesting because you got a lot of homeless teenagers here in the city too.
really?
Yeah, really.
That my I would probably think you see a lot of homeless teens, because as you were going back to disobedience, a lot of children these days, they don't like to be subjected to like authority. And so their thing is, well, I'm better off not being here because I don't want to follow the rules. So I could see why there is a homelessness problem when it comes to teens because a lot of them don't like to live under authority at all.
and they don't. And now that just piggyback off of it, we see some they're then it comes with their background too. A lot of it
Yeah.
misguided for so long. A lot of them come from homes where their mother, father may have been on drugs or they've been molested. Not as they make an excuse for them, but
Oh, yeah, I understand.
it's like so much. Then, like I said, the rebellion's going on. They listen to social media. They listen to
Mhm.
people on the outside, and I just believe we have to get the home restored back in order again. That's
Yeah.
God's principles too. Is having a home in order. I hear people. Now we talked about this last week on the podcast. One of the episodes we did. I hear people say they have a vision for ministry, have a vision for a business, but what about the homes? What about the marriages? What about raising our
Yeah.
children? Could God deal with families? You know, the
Yeah.
first ministry was a husband and a wife. That was
Yeah.
Adam and Eve.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have one thing to say about it. You know, one thing we talk about the homes and we talk about the youth. It's very shocking to hear that there are a lot of youth homeless in Dallas. And but I think for most part, and I'm old school, but it starts in the home, and you have to have uh, a male presence in
Yes.
the home. A lot, I see a lot of young men. I can't revert to the young ladies, but I'm gonna speak on behalf of the young men. A lot of young men these days do these type of crimes, go through these type of turmoils in life because number one problem is there's not a male presence in the home. There's not a male influence in the home that can grab this kid and do the right things and not let him go astray. And so that's a lot of things that's going on. Today's society is such different from back in the day when you guys when we was all growing up, because I can speak for myself. I got out wrong. My parents didn't mind chastise me in front of anybody. So you know, and nowadays you can't do that. You know,
Yeah.
nowadays you go to jail, you'll be all on television and you end up as a bad parent, and now nobody want to deal with you, don't want to deal with your child because of the drama. But I think that's the most part of our generation now. There's not a two-parent home no more. A lot of these kids are taking care of themselves.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they are. And we look at it now where I ain't gonna just be honest with you. Some males don't want to work. I
Right,
mean,
right.
it's like the role reverse. Like some of the guys don't want to work. They're not trying to work. They depend on a woman to take care of them, and
Yeah,
it's like it's sad.
we talked about that last week, Furman, when you know it's total reverse now.
It
You
Yeah.
know,
is. It really is.
back in the day, a man thrived on a couple of things, and a couple of main things is making sure that the family had a roof over their head, that
Right.
things were taken care of. No matter how he did it, he made sure it was done.
Yeah.
Now it's vice versa.
Yeah.
The woman is out trying to make sure everything is in line, making sure the house is intact, making sure the bills are paid, making sure the finances are still up to peak. While the male that is there, that doesn't want to work, is sitting on the couch playing PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, my cousin and I, we were having a conversation about that not too long ago, and she was asking me, like, is it like weird to expect a guy to be like the provider and protector of the house? And I said, I don't. I said, I think that's the way it's supposed to be. I said, what I think happened was in our early 20s, late teens, we had a lot of Miss Independent, I can do it bad by myself. I don't need no man. We were like just that was all being pushed to us through like music.
Right,
Hmm.
And so
right,
you have these men now, because they grew up hearing this, they're expecting a woman to, like, well, you got to have your own, don't expect me to do for you what you can do for yourself.
right.
Like they've adopted that mindset, and
Yeah,
the women have adopted this, like, I don't need a man because I've seen mommy do it without a man, and I can do it by myself because she told me to. And mommy has taught me that you don't need a man to, like establish you, or, just like you just don't need a man because you are it all by yourself.
And
exactly.
that's the wrong mentality to have because we know
Yeah.
that God made male and female. He made husband and wife.
Hmm.
He had his order already set up. Excuse me. We just got away from that order. Of course, being influenced by the world, being influenced by social media. Another thing came up was word submit. The
Yeah.
Bible said, "Why submit to your husband?" To them, that's a dirty word. That's a negative word.
Yeah.
And you talk to, and not all women like that. You talk to an average woman today, if she hears that, to her that feel like, oh, he's holding me back
Yeah.
from living life. He's holding me back from spending money.
No,
He's
I got
holding me
one
back
better.
from all this stuff. But that's how God set things up. And some guys have not deserved that yet. I'm not taking up for them. They ain't deserved it yet because they ain't live up to expectation.
You know,
But the word, go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Mr. Furman. It's shocking to to hear a woman says that's from the quote of the Bible, what you just said, Furman. A wife should submit to their husband. Nowadays, now women will be submit. I ain't doing all that. I ain't doing all that. He better go
Yeah.
get it himself, and totally misjudging or misunderstanding the word of God. That was the
Yeah.
word of God.
And we have to go
And
back to that.
yeah, I've heard women say, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that. Well, a couple months later down the line, you see her, well, how you and so and so? Oh, we broke up with each other. Exactly.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
ones that always end up by themselves. That's why they never be married. That's why
Yeah.
they won't be married because
Right.
that mentality.
Right.
Because that whole 50-50 thing, ain't no such thing, no 50-50. It's 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's you do is what is it? I got mine, you get yours. It's all about coming together, submitting to one another, respect one another. Because the Bible said when we get married, you become one. God don't see two individuals; He see one individual. That's the husband and wife. But people, it's not. If you talk to people on the average, they throw money in.
Right.
Money is not everything. I asked a question the other day. Somebody said, "Well, I make more money than the man." Okay, so it sound like to me that you make your money your God because you can lose that job
Yeah.
today or tomorrow. What gonna happen then? Oh,
Exactly.
I ain't gonna never lose my job because I'm good at what I do. That don't mean nothing because God can take your breath out your body. You could die today or tonight. What's gonna happen? They
That's
gonna
right.
replace you with somebody else. So people think it's all about money. It's not all about the money because you can make all the money in the world and still be a fool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can say this, and I won't be long. I'll be very brief. Just piggyback on what you just said, Furman. God wants us to um, give Him total attention. Number one thing, God is a jealous God, and
Yeah.
I take this pandemic as uh, a tool because God was constantly trying to get our attention. Constantly, I want you to serve me. And
Hmm.
people was doing other things. People was turning against their religion, turning against their parents, turning against their generation. Things were going bad. Weather was bad, hurricanes out of the world. And this pandemic came around. God said, if I can't get your attention any other way, I will make you serve me. I'll take everything away from these stores. I'll shut all this stuff down where you can't go nowhere. You can't do anything. You got to wear a mask every time you walk out the house. You'll realize who's God. And
Yeah.
so a lot of people to nowadays it's taking things for granted. And our generation now is just totally different. And I'm not one of the old ancient guys around here because I too had to learn the hard way of how to deal with life and how to overcome some things because everybody has a story and
Yeah.
everybody has a happy ending, hopefully. But
Oh,
that's it. God just wants us to pay more attention to Him.
oh, most definitely. And that's what it's all about. And like you said, with you, meet your life, said with your faith and things of that nature to inspire others, and you standing on pillars of truth when it comes to take care of our bodies, being healthy, and all you doing is implementing what God said in His book about taking care of ourselves. You read the book of Leviticus; it talks about the food we can and cannot eat.
Hmm.
Learn how to be content, and I'm learning how to be content too. People think he said, "Long we got food and clothing, be content." You know,
Yeah.
but we on this rat race, we on this journey of you got to have the latest this, the latest that, the latest gadget. That stuff keeps you in debt. You know what I'm saying? Not saying nothing wrong with having nice stuff like that, but use wisdom when it comes to your finances. Rich people live on. You know what? Rich people don't allow money to become their god. They look at money as a tool. That's a tool that they use to get the stuff that they need. They don't go buy all that flashy stuff. You ever notice that? They buy stuff that's not flashy. They don't. They just
What most of them do, I like them. I mean, but most rich people, if you see a very wealthy person, they just got normal clothes on. They
yeah.
don't have this high price stuff. They do have the luxury cars, the luxury houses, the things, but it's something for something. You know, any one of us right now, somebody knock on our door and say, "I can give you $50 million." The first thing you gonna do is buy a top-notch house and a top-notch car. That's just us.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know, different people will go get that car, go get that house, and parade around all the time. When a level-minded person will only just get it and say, "Oh, it's just a car."
Oh yeah, and you know, and they don't be flashy with it. They're not gonna get on Facebook, be all flashy with it. They just like, cause they used to like, I don't even be showing that stuff, or that stuff. But a person on average, look at me, I got this, I got that. But
I'm pulling up beside Dallas Cowboys in my Ferrari. That's about all I'm
but that's what it's all about. So I know we pressed for time. So Measha, you have any final remarks you want to leave for the audience here on the podcast?
Um, 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 I'm nervous. Forgive me.
You good?
all right. That's all right.
The only thing I would probably say is just invest in yourself. I mean, nobody is going to invest in you the way you would do for yourself. Nobody is going to push you. Nobody's going to take care of you. Nobody's going to be your cheerleader like you would be for yourself.
Absolutely.
So that would be my thing. Oh, I mean, like, not saying put yourself first, but know when you need to be a priority.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's it. So invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. That sums it up right there. Invest in yourself. We want everybody to have a great night. Hope everybody had a great evening, of course. Thing was said. Hope thing was said that really challenged you in a way. You say, you know what? I need to do that. I need to make some change. I need to do that. We will be back here next Tuesday night, same time, here on the podcast. Once again, thank you, Measha, for taking time out your busy schedule to join up with us on the podcast. You're welcome anytime. And like I said, you did great. So, hey, don't worry about it.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Cool beans. We're going to be back here next Tuesday night. Looking forward to Thursday night football with the Cowboys and Tampa Bay. So, football fans, tune in, watch football Thursday night. Football is back. Of course, Cowboy Nation represent. We'll see y'all next Tuesday. Peace, everybody.
See you later.